Greetings. This is Celebration. My name is John Savers. I'm your host. And today we'll continue with our series, Jews and Their Culture. Now, for those of you new to Celebration, this is a series which focuses on peoples and their cultures. We try to get a better understanding of what makes them tick. We look at the good, the bad, the mundane, and whatever seems to help in this better understanding. We assume, of course, some knowledge of the subject matters which we will touch on because of popular introductions in school and movies and TV and so forth, so that a good deal is understood in a general sort of way. We feel, however, that the understanding of a people, or people's culture, requires some depth that is not possible when material omissions occur, and it just so happens that that often is the case as the establishment increasingly tries to put forth a feel-good rendering of world events, peoples, and so forth. Well, it is our view that yes, people do have warts, yes, scars, and so forth. They're not always spiffy. So we're not above looking at such things, bringing it to the attention of the public and so forth. Well, this does not necessarily ingratiate us with every group out there, of course. I kind of liken myself to the Frank Sinatra character in From Here to Eternity, who got into a tussle with the guy who ran, the sergeant who ran the brig, played by Ernest Borgnine. Ernest Borgnine took offense at Sinatra's character and just beat the tar out of him, beat him almost unto death. But he tells Burt Lancaster's character before he croaks, I spat in the eye of Fatso, his term for Ernest Borgnine's sergeant, sadistic sergeant of the brig. Well, in the way I've sort of spat in the eye of Fatso, meaning the establishment. So who knows where we'll all end. But anyway, we will proceed with fact, law, and truth, and we do hope for the best in this. Now, the subject of late has been the Qabalah. We are looking at modes of thinking to be found within the Jewish culture, modes which have been very influential. So we have taken a look at the Qabalah. Now, in doing so, in the last program, we brought to the attention of all who may not know that the Qabalah actually has elements which are akin to quite a few religions. We touched on the Hindu and touched on chakras and Kundalini and so forth. But the influence does touch on a number of other areas which we'd like to briefly run through so that you have a well-rounded understanding of just how broad and deep the religious influence is. And of course, law issues from religious beliefs, so that law and policy today is highly affected by the religious underpinning. So let's do that. Yoga is often perceived as a purely physical exercise. The initial purpose of yoga may be only physical, but this is in order to gain control of the physical before one can move on to the mental and spiritual plane. Yoga is, in total, a system of meditation and self-control designed to produce mystical experiences and spiritual insights. This is a citation from Kate Rheeders' Qabalah Beginner's Guide, page 36. Well, the reader may compare that citation with the information in regard to Rabbi Akiva and his ability to reach seventh heaven through presumably similar insights and relative notions. But let's go forward. The only unnumbered sphere in the tree of life is Daath. Daath lies within the abyss below Kether and above Tif-Erith, and can be shown with position only in two-dimensional versions of the tree. Daath is attributed to knowledge. Daath has no dimensions, yet has all dimensions. The knowledge of Daath is without understanding, which comes from Bina. There are many people who have knowledge without understanding. Daath lies in the abyss and is the gate to the reverse side of the tree of life, the tree of evil. Area from which demons and disease come. It can therefore be said that whatever comes through the abyss is the opposite to what lies above. Everything below the abyss has duality, positive and negative, dark and light. All that lies above the abyss is without duality. A citation from Kate Rheeders' Qabalah, A Beginner's Guide, page 20. What are the implications of this data? Let's pause a moment and consider some possibilities. Both positives and negatives have their own positives and negatives. Positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, and positive, negative. All humans have these positives and negatives. It is important to recognize the dark side within. Only then can one choose to live in the light where ignorance is no excuse. Daath is the gate to these dark sides of the sphere. On these dark sides lie all the demons and vices. When a sphere is not inhabited by the light, the demons will occupy it and manifest on the physical body in the appropriate sphere. Now, this is a citation once again from Kate Rheeders' Qabalah, A Beginner's Guide, pages 41-42. Well, let's go to an illustration of this again to kind of get this in your mind a little bit. Well, with this information from Ms. Rheeders, I think it's safe to hazard a fairly sound speculation that New Ager types who claim to be channeling various personalities from the past are actually channeling demons. And it's safe to say that demons are pretty good in the area of debate, certainly better than humans. One thinks of J.Z. Knight and her, I think, 35,000-year-old personality, Rimfill, I think is supposedly a knight or king or something of this sort in the past, a warrior who will teach interested parties how to be gods. And I think they're actually teaching them how to get damned, but at any rate, caveat emptor, as they say. We think also that people who are drugged and alcoholized are vulnerable to demon infestation. I think that the apertures in the mind, so to speak, spring open, and this image of Daath certainly serves that end. But let's go forward. The Oxford Dictionary states that a psychosomatic illness is one caused or aggravated by mental stress, an illness that involves both the mind and the body. The mind is a very powerful instrument and should therefore be looked at more closely. Citation from Kate Rheeders' Qabalah, A Beginner's Guide, page 42. I was listening to a tape in which the speaker had asserted that the noted psychiatrist, psychologist, analyst Sigmund Freud was a trained Kabbalist and was actually said to have died wearing his mother's underwear Whether that is true or not, we do think that he was somewhat out of whack, and his work basically reflects this line, as far as I can see, this Qabalah line of thinking. But let's go to a chart here so that you get a better understanding of this particular area. Well, I think that it's pretty clear from the illustration that Sigmund Freud drew upon this for his id, ego, and superego concepts. But let's go ahead a little bit further with kindred ideas in regard to the tree or kindred religious concepts, derivatives. The aura and the physical body. There's an electromagnetic field that surrounds the physical body. This is known as the aura and has been recorded by a technique called Kirlian photography. By training oneself, it is possible to see auras with the physical eye. The aura dies prior to the death of the body. Some believe that the aura leaves the body up to 40 hours prior to physical death. This is a citation from Kate Rheeders' Qabalah, Beginner's Guide, page 43. Now, in furtherance of this concept, please observe this diagram. Well, this is very interesting. It kind of recalls to mind the assertion by John Lennon and Yoko Ono that they were two people with one soul. Perhaps he was really talking about one aura. But whether they had one aura or two auras, and the auras became concentric, or whether or not when John became part of Yoko's life, his aura split so that there was only one aura out of Yoko's, or any of these odd combinations, I can't say. But I do know also that the heavy use of drugs by John Lennon and Yoko Ono opened the possibility that they shared a demon rather than one soul. But at any rate, this becomes more understandable when listening to his nutty song, Imagine. But let's go further along and get more of the kindred materials. The TARO is, in a nutshell, a set of 78 cards that contain various universal symbols incorporated into pictures. The TARO can be used as a divination tool. When exploring the word TARO, the following can be said. TARO means principle, law, or essence. TARO means wheeling essence. Rota means essential will. Torah means essential law. Arcana means hidden or mysterious. All these words and their meanings are held within the TARO. There are many legends connected with the origin of the TARO. One of these tells how after Moses received the secrets of the Qabalah on Mount Sinai, some of these leaked, but to the Egyptians. These secrets were passed on to the gypsies, who then not only used the TARO as a basis for the ordinary pack of playing cards as known today, but also spread it through Europe. The symbols of the TARO can be used to go on a spiritual journey as far or as deep as needed. The images contained in the designs are merely mirrors reflecting the inner picture. Citation from Kate Rheeders' Qabalah, A Beginner's Guide, page 57. The Qabalah, or Kabbalah's books were presented to Moses, or he wrote and was the custodian of, and passed sort of sub rosa to especially gifted minds to secure and to enlighten. I also think that it's a pretty good bet that there is a nexus between the origin of gypsies and the dispersion of certain Jews to India. But here we see a claim in regard to Egypt, but at any rate there does seem to be some sort of a connection. We do have the gypsies, of course, taking this area of the occult and others, such as palm reading and so forth, into Europe, where the occult doctrines may have been vulgarized in pursuit of loot, but at any rate, elements were retained. But let's go on. The TARO and the Tree of Life. A TARO pack consists of 78 cards, 22 Major Arcana and 56 Minor Arcana. These two levels are indeed very different. The Major Arcana are at a much higher level, and each of the 22 cards corresponds to one of the 22 paths that connect the spheres on the Tree of Life. The Minor Arcana correspond to the spheres themselves. Each card has positive and negative aspects. Many interpreters attach negative meanings to a card that appears upside down in a reading. However, positive and negative are present in all human beings. This is a citation from Kate Rheeders' Qabalah, a beginner's guide, page 58. Well, here again we have left side and right side of the Jewish tree of life depicted or alluded to, corresponding to the light, dark, positive, negative imagery. But let's go forward. This is diagram 5.1 from page 59 of Ms. Rheeders' text. There are 22 cards in the Major Arcana. They're numbered from 0 to 21, while the paths on the Tree of Life are numbered from 11 to 32. Now, the 0 to 21 clearly represent the 10 spheres plus 1 of standard design, along with their dark echoes, making the 22. See table 5.1 again, and perhaps it'll be clearer. Now, certainly the most successful of the alleged readers, the palm readers and so forth, tarot readers, the card readers and so forth, are those which are most imaginative and dramatic and theatrical, as well as perhaps perceptive in a psychological way. But let me see if I can elaborate on that with a citation. Minor Arcana in the Tarot consists of 4 suits, like the ordinary pack of cards. Each suit consists of 10 numbered cards and 4 court cards. Each of the 4 numbered cards corresponds to the individual sphere with the same number, while each of the 4 court cards belong to one of the 4 worlds in the Tree of Life. The 4 suits of the Major Arcana correspond to the force elements that are present in all living beings, and so do the 4 court cards. It also corresponds to the 4 letters in the name of God, Yahweh. I, Yud, fire, Father, wands, intuition, king. H, he, water, mother, cups, feeling, queen. V, Vaf, air, sun, swords, thinking, night. H, he, earth, daughter, disc, sensations, page, jack. This is a citation once again from Ms. Kate Rheeders' Qabalah, page 60. You can also see tables 52 and diagram 52 and 53. Well, once again, the connection to the Qabalah, to the tree of life, to this emanation theory is apparent, and there's no doubt whatsoever about that. It might be just said in passing of all the great religions and so forth, only the Israelitish and the Christian are separated from these notions of emanation. And of course, there have been intrusions as Kabbalists have infiltrated in and tried to reinterpret the Israelitish and the Christian modes. But let's go forward. Gematria is the deeper meaning of Hebrew words. Hebrew is often referred to as the holy language. Hebrew words have inner meanings that manifest themselves into words very much as the aura manifests itself in the physical body. The 22 letters of the Hebrew Aleph Beth are on the 22 paths of the tree of life, and it is believed that these 22 letters were created long before the universe. The 22 letters of the Aleph Beth then presented themselves to the Father-Mother deity in reverse order and asked to be the channel through which the universe and all its contents were to be created. The Mother-Father deity allowed each letter to channel only a portion of the light. Kate Rheeders, Qabalah, Beginner's Guide, page 69. Well, once again, we see Ms. Rheeders' feminist orientation sort of intruding into the interpretation, but it is quite standard in the Qabalah that the crown is the holder, so to speak, of both male and female principles, but that the female side is turned away. It's like the term is the face was turned away. That is, it seems to be relegated to a sort of potential, while the crown is considered masculine, but at the same time to have a kind of a hermaphroditic aspect. But let's go forward. Well, now let's have an illustration of this so you can have a better understanding of what we're trying to get at here. Well, I'd like to go back to a subject that we touched on a little earlier and to elaborate on it now. There are 7 schools of yoga that originate from the Eastern disciplines. One of these schools of yoga is called Laya Yoga, and its 2 main features are the chakras and the Kundalini. Kundalini is described as an energy like a coiled-up snake that lies dormant in the base of the chakra. This energy is alive and blocks the channel up the spine through the other 6 chakras. The purpose of practicing Laya Yoga is to awaken the Kundalini. This energy will then rise and move upwards through the other 6 chakras, bringing with it the life force. This energy is most commonly directed outwards during orgasm. The Kundalini lies in the Muladhara, root base, chakra, and orgasm happens in the Svadhisthana, or sacral chakra, which means that she rises only for a short distance. Through the practice of Laya Yoga, this force can be lifted all the way up to the Sahasrara crown chakra. A citation from Kate Rheeders' Qabalah, Beginner's Guide, page 35. Of course, those of you familiar with the Hindu temples, some of the Hindu temples and their vivid sculptures of sexual formations may understand how vividly this concept must have been for them. That's it. That's all the time we have. This is Celebration. My name is John Savers. I'm your host. I appreciate your tuning in. Hope to see you again next time.
And in the rabbinical writings, it tells us that these men were trained in the arts of the Qabalah. You want to be a magician? This is what you practice. Now, not all Jews of today, nor do all rabbis ascribe to this teaching. But what I said the other day was this. Those that do, and I'm going to say the majority of them, believe in this system. And not all of them believe in it all the way to the extreme evil side. There is a very heavy percentage that believes and have entered into the dark left side who are really wanting to be gods upon this universe. And these are those who think as one-worlders who were trying to destroy the laws of God, instituting their own Malkut or their kingdom to bring manifestation in, because they believe that they have already obtained godhood. They believe they are our gods. They therefore control through their system money. Today we were at another store. We found another book on the Qabalah, and we found a chart in it. And in this chart, laid out just like this, you can find astrology charts. I left you one in here, what their astrology is based upon the Qabalah. We found one based on money, and there's the whole Babylonian economic money system.